All right, my friends, welcome to episode 133 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I'm the Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and over there is Anthony the Dev, and he is at Summerspeak on Twitter. Wow, how's it going this weekend, man?
It's going great.
Yeah?
Yeah, made it through Easter weekend.
Yeah,
survived.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Not that I celebrate, or it's probably one of the ones I'm like, I don't really care about this holiday all that much. But
you celebrate the pagan stuff at least, like the bunnies and the eggs.
I celebrate my kids as my kids called it, Easter Egg Day, which they got to go hunt around Easter eggs around the house.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
That was amusing.
Plastic ones
had some
or
family over
hard-boiled
for
ones?
brunch. Plastic.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird. I always did hard-boiled as a kid, but my
Yeah.
wife never did hard-boiled as a kid.
Oh, wow.
She always did plastic. So it's this weird thing. I'm like, I don't... She's like, hard-boiled's weird. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe.
That's all we did was hard-boiled for sure.
But then she asked, she's like, what do you do when you're done with them? And I'm like, that is a good question. I don't remember what I actually did with the eggs.
We ate
after. I think I ate some, but it was a fair amount.
Yeah,
so I'm
probably
like,
not all of them.
did I mean, sure, I ate a couple hard-boiled eggs. I'm like, did my parents take them back and like make like egg salad out of it or something?
Possible.
I don't know.
But
That's all I could think of.
Today
Or
was
made deviled eggs or something.
At the church today, they were hunting plastic eggs, and like all the kids ran and found all the eggs, and there was one left behind the swarm of kids. So my wife and I took our daughter over and set her down on the wood chips, and she reached down. She was like, I've never seen her so happy in my life. She was so proud that she got this egg, and she's like a 9-month-old, and she just was just like observing and wanted to do it, and she did it, and she just would not let go of this egg after she got it for hours.
It's hers.
Yeah, it was definitely hers. It was really a cool thing to see. So happy Easter to everyone out there. And this episode, we're going to go backwards a little bit. We did not talk about the Nindies Showcase that happened, I think it was March 20th. Other things popped up. So we want to review that, and then we'll talk about our time with Chrono Trigger, followed by games we've been playing. And then that will be our episode for this week. So we're going to start with the Nindies Showcase. And before we kind of run through all the games, I kind of wanted to ask you, was there one game that stood out to you as something that you were excited to play when it hit the Switch?
I mean, I've already played it, but I'm very excited for it.
Yeah? Is it...
Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah. And that one wasn't even in the showcase. That was like outside the showcase.
It was outside the showcase, and I didn't even care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a game I had on Xbox that you have implored me to play. So when I saw that it was coming to Switch, I said, "Yep, that's where I'm going to play it."
Switch would be great to play that one on. Yeah, and the fact that I've played it on the PC, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm gonna get that one again. Out of ones they actually announced, another one that's a remaster is Luminous.
I was hoping that you'd play that game.
I love that puzzle game. I love that puzzle game.
After the Direct, people lost their minds about Luminous, and I was thinking, what the hell is Luminous? And everyone that I've listened to or read on Twitter is like, you guys if you've never played it, just get it when it comes out.
Yeah.
Can you explain the hook of this game?
The hook of the game, so it's is it a match 3? I think it's a match 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a match 3, with really, really cool like electronic music. But the way the matching works is there's basically a timer bar, time to the music, that goes across the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have 3 pieces of the same color matching, it will remove those pieces as this bar goes across.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the basic premise of the puzzle.
Okay.
So just a match 3.
Yeah. Just
with really cool visuals. Pretty fast and great music. Like, it's really easy to just kind of like zen out to.
Yeah, that kind of came
that's the best puzzle game ever.
Oh, okay.
Anything you can just do that to, where you're just like get in a groove.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what that game is.
Awesome. Well, I was intrigued by the trailer, and then just hearing people lose their minds, I thought, maybe I should check this game out. I think it was a PSP game at one point.
It was. Yep.
Okay.
That's where I played it. That he had a PSP at PopCap at that time.
Yeah.
And it just kind of got handed around the studio to play.
But when you guys played that at the studio, did any of those pieces of that game kind of make it into any of your games at all? Or is it just
no, not really.
As gamers?
We just enjoyed it as gamers and just general, like, hey, look at another cool puzzle game.
Right.
Like, that has a lot of polish to it and is just fun. So We had a lot of those.
Yeah, that's. I guess I have to put that on my list then. I think it's coming out sooner than later. I thought it was summer.
Spring.
Spring? Is it spring? Okay, even sooner than I thought.
Yeah, so next couple months.
Yeah,
probably.
awesome. For me, kind of the same thing. Your answer was something you played before. For me, it's Mark of the Ninja Remastered. I played about half the game on PC, and I would love to have that on the Switch. Would just be the perfect place to play that game.
Yeah.
So, I don't think you still haven't played that game, Mark of the Ninja.
Nope, I really need to sit down and play it.
Yeah. But you've played other Clay games.
I have played other Clay games. I love Clay's art style. Like all their art is unique depending on the game, but it's very striking and tends to always be really good. Yeah, I'm really excited to see that come to the Switch.
Well, and the thing that I like about that coming, other than the fact that I get to play this awesome game on the go or on my couch at least, is that it kind of opens up doors for more indie titles from that era. I know it wasn't very long ago, but I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago it came out. Just more of those coming to the Switch would be pretty awesome.
And I think you'll see more and more of that, especially as the Switch market continues to grow, and people want a lot of these games portable.
Well,
so
it seems like a chance for those devs to basically sell to people who will double dip. Because I purchased it on PC and I will buy it again on Switch.
I'm waiting for Bastion and Transistor to show up.
I would definitely buy Transistor.
They've put them everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't imagine that Supergiant's not going to put those games there.
Right. I would love that Transistor again on Switch.
Yeah.
I would buy that and play it again. That game was such a rad game. I still have not gotten into Bastion, but maybe I should keep plugging away at that on my Vita.
A little bit. I really enjoyed it overall. I think I like Transistor more.
Yeah.
But Bastion was a very... it's an action RPG, basically. Approach it like Diablo in some ways.
Right. Well, I remember us talking about Bastion like in one of our first episodes together, where I was telling you I wasn't really into it, and you asked me, "So, are you? What do you think of the narrator?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not playing with sound." You're like, "Stop, stop, and go back."
You're right. I think that's the whole point of the game is you need to have the narrator and sound. Like, it's dynamic.
Right.
Like, that's the whole point, is the narrator is actually narrating what you're doing.
And it was much better when I turned the sound on. So
that's what the game was known for. That's what its initial hook was whenever it was being shown off, was like, look at this crazy narration that they're doing.
So, pro tip, listen to Anthony.
Yeah, pro tip, use
sound.
Use sound, really. It's kind of a thing in games. They're kind of better with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially when we had the same damn conversation when I was playing No Man's Sky, and I was like, no, I'm just playing on mute. And you're like, dude, plug the fucking headphones in and listen to that music. And you were right. It was really good. It's like playing Celeste without music on would be just crazy, because the Celeste soundtrack is so good.
Yeah.
Another game from the Nindies Showcase that I thought was pretty interesting, and it's one I've actually played before, was Fantasy Strike, which is done, I think it's by one of the Street Fighter guys behind Street Fighter?
Serlin Games.
Yeah, exactly. So he wanted to make a game that was fighting game that was a lot more accessible, where there's not a ton of crazy combos, but it's more almost like Smash Brothers style inputs, like pretty simple, but there's lots of different moves and you can link them together in lots of different ways. I enjoyed it, and it was only a PC game, so I didn't get too far into it, but I played a demo for about 30 minutes with the guys at that booth. I forget where it was at.
Nice.
Comic-Con or WonderCon or something. So just a colorful kind of... I like the art style. Fighting game that seems pretty accessible.
It's on my radar. I'm trying to see if other stuff... It was a lot of stuff that's already been on PC. Like West of Loathing is one that I want to check out.
Right.
And... with its stick figure art style. But people seem to rave about that game, so...
Yeah, people... something about the art style turns me off, but so many people that I respect in terms of people hosting podcasts that I've listened to keep telling the audience not to sleep on this game. So there's got to be something more to it that I just haven't hooked into yet. I think for me, the other... interesting thing was Reigns, Kings and Queens coming to Switch. We've talked about Reigns. You played Reigns, and then you told me about it, so I played it, and then I got Greg playing it. Like, just love that game. Have not played the Queens version yet, but it just screams to me like a mobile game. Like it's a game that I want to play on my phone, not really on my Switch. So I'm glad that they're bringing it on, but it's not interesting to me.
No, I mean it's designed for the moment. The swiping back and forth, like it's
right.
It's clear. Like sure, they're bringing it to a different platform. That's great, but it seems more like pretty easy for them to bring over in that regard. Just be like, sure, get some extra money out of it on another platform.
Yeah, I just always felt the hook was something like that. I guess Tinder, where you swipe left or right and do that.
Yeah, it totally is. It's just, Tinder the game.
Yeah, right. So modeling that and just makes sense in the phone, but on the, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm glad that it'll be open to a wider audience, or maybe not wider because there's more people with iPhones or whatever. But it's a quality game. So, and I have not played the Queens. I've not downloaded that or played that one, and I hear it's really good. So,
yeah,
it's nice to have them both as a package.
What else was in it? Oh, all the Banner sagas are coming.
Right.
Which is weird that I would be like not that excited about it, but I've tried Banner Saga 1 and 2, and I just can't get into those games.
I'm exactly the same way. I really wanted to, and I couldn't.
The mechanics I like. Like, I actually think the battle mechanics and tactic mechanics are fine. It's just, I find something about the storytelling, and the art is gorgeous, but the storytelling itself is very flat.
Yeah.
And, like, I find it hard to get into, to follow, to care.
Right.
Like, I'm just like, I'm bored.
It's
very pretty, but I'm bored.
That's exactly the same comments that I would have about that game. Is that something about the story is it's like obtuse in like a weird way where it's just not. It doesn't onboard the player into the story very well, and it's just I got lost. And no matter how much I like the mechanics, I went into that game to have this interesting story told to me, and it just wasn't getting that at all. So I put it down really quickly. So I'm not really. I don't really care. Maybe 3 fixes some of those issues, but I know 2 didn't. So I'm not.
No.
I don't really care. But I'm glad it's coming because lots of people do like those games, and that's great. The other game that really stuck out to me was The Messenger.
Yep.
Man, that game looks rad. It's it starts with like an 8-bit. It's almost like a Ninja Gaiden kind of thing, although it's not the same style. But then it quickly shifts to there's like a time travel mechanic, and it shifts to 16-bit.
Yep, you switch back and forth between the two, which is crazy.
What a cool!
It looks really neat.
It looks really neat. What a cool hook! And again, people I've listened to who played the game at GDC were saying things like it just once you get through and kind of beat the game, it opens everything up, and it's just the time travel mechanics make it like this weird Metroidvania, but kind of light almost. It's its own thing, but it's just super intriguing, and the hook is really strong to keep people playing. So it's just. I have not heard anything about the game until this showcase, and it's on my list now.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm looking. It's a summer release, so man, there'll be a lot of games for the summer. That'll be fine.
Well, I'm just creating my list for the fall.
I have a camping trip in the middle of summer, so road trip. I'll have stuff loaded up on my Switch for that.
What a perfect console for a summer road trip. And then nothing else really stood out to me. There are a couple more games and such, but nothing that really lit my fire so much. We'll see what sifts to the top once these games all release. But it was nice to have this showcase come out. And it's something that you've talked about where Nintendo just keeps getting itself in the news or getting it themselves on gamers' radar or getting them discussing their stuff. So
yeah, I actually am thinking of this. This was March 20th. E3 is the beginning of June. I would expect Nintendo will have something at the end of April or beginning of May. We'll get another, maybe a Direct at that point. But they're going to do something. There'll be something. Well, Labo will come out at the end of this month.
Right.
And I bet they'll do something a couple weeks after that. Maybe it will just be a thing going like, hey, here's what we're doing at E3, and here's what we're going to how it's going to be set up. But I feel like the way they time things, they have something ready to go about a month before E3 to keep them in the news more.
Well, that's something that actually Bill Trinan tweeted out today or yesterday. He said that we're going to have a lot more of our E3 information coming out in about a month. So it seems like
that fits.
That's exactly the timeline that they have, and it seems to fit what you just said. So it's just almost like every month, just like clockwork. We're back in the news. We're back in the news, and it's just especially this year. I think it's important because I can't name too many first-party Nintendo games that are coming out. as opposed to last year where we had quite a few. So this,
Yeah.
The indie Switch kind of persona is really going to carry the Switch at least through the first 6 months of this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to backload this. This year's going to be backloaded for first party titles.
I hope so, and that makes sense for the holiday.
Smash, definitely.
Fire Emblem Warriors,
Fire Emblem,
not Warriors,
probably.
Fire Emblem, yeah.
But the next Fire Emblem, I wouldn't be surprised if is gonna be a few months after Smash. Like, it seems about right. They'll just backload the year, which is great because they'll sell most of their consoles honestly during the holiday season.
Right.
So,
yeah, it makes sense. I'm hoping that Fire Emblem hits in August. I'd like to see it come out before Smash, specifically if Sakurai is going to continue his trend of putting more Fire Emblem characters into the game. I'd like to know who they are from the game before I see them in Smash. But that's the game that I'm most excited for this year, so the earlier the better for me. But whatever.
Yeah, you'll know about it at E3, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to find out then, and including hopefully more information about Metroid Prime 4. I doubt that's coming this year, but just to hear more about it.
I think we're still years away from that.
Oh, years. Okay.
I think two years. Uh-huh. I think it's a 2020 game.
Yeah,
most likely.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh yeah, I forgot. Tropical Freeze is coming out, and so is Treasure Tracker. So I guess that counts as first party titles, even though they're rehashes from the Wii U.
Yeah, they're not system sellers.
Definitely not.
They're just good games that they can pad the library with.
Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Just so like people that already own the console feel like they're getting something worthwhile.
Exactly.
So.
It's funny that you say they're not system sellers, though, because I bought my Wii U specifically because of Tropical Freeze. I just loved the Donkey Kong games on the Super Nintendo, and when I was getting back into gaming, I saw that the Tropical Freeze had recently come out, and I was like, all right, I need to play that game. So it actually was a system seller for me. When I'm probably the only guy, but everyone has their game that they like. So
yes.
Speaking of games that we like, you and I are both continuing to play Chrono Trigger.
We are.
I had the opportunity to go to Blizzard in Irvine this week and see some stuff, which was really, really fun. So on the train ride up and back, I brought the 3DS with me and played what I thought was quite a bit of Chrono Trigger. I played for like 2 or 3 hours, and I thought I would catch up to you, but apparently I'm still just on your heels.
Seems like it. I guess you did. You got the was it the Wings of Time?
Yep, I got the Wings of Time, which is the time travel machine, and then I started getting chests and opening doors all over the place. Spent a ton of time basically opening every single chest I could.
I did that stuff last week. I did a bunch of that.
Right.
Going back and forth, getting chests, opening doors, getting all this equipment. So you're only a little bit behind me because I only progressed slightly farther.
There's a place called the Mount Woe, I think is what it's called. And
Mountain of Woe or whatever.
Yeah, and there's a guru, right? You're at the end of that is the guru. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then there's a big boss fight, of course, because there's always boss fights.
Right.
There's going to be one at the end. So yeah, you boss fight, and then you get the guru. And I finished that, got back down, and I'm starting on the next part of that storyline in 13,000 BC.
Yeah. So we're getting towards the end.
We are, and I'm still trying to remember now. So I just had to, after I got to the end Mountain of Woe, I was like, I have to look at a guide. I just need to know where the end is.
Right.
I can't remember. So my save file from 10 years ago is past all of it. It's in the time that is like the faded time. Oh, so really it's just when you're doing side quests.
Right.
Before the end of the game, before you want to finish the game. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember any of the story from this point on. Like, I have no memory of doing any of this ever.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the guy right now, and the faded hour is like 2 before the end, basically. So you got real close.
I did get real close, but it's just funny when I'm like, what I did this past week, I don't have any memory of doing that.
Yeah.
But clearly I did in that other playthrough. I'm like, when I played it on a long international plane flight on the way back, and I was when I was on trains in it, I'm like, did I just block this from my memory? I would expect that I'd have some recollection of some of the story. But
I think
nope.
some people who think of Chrono Trigger as the best game of all time would really love to have that memory sync so they could just forget it and play it again like it was the first time, like you're doing now, basically.
Feels like it at this point.
Yeah. Was there anything in this section that you thought was particularly like interesting or noteworthy?
Where I got, yes, there is a very noteworthy point.
Okay.
When you hit the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Some big reveals, some big things going on here, and it's very interesting in a lot of ways. Where it's a weird time travel game, and you know what we've seen so far, that Lavos comes back in 1999 AD.
Right.
So he can't come back before that. Like, this is what time's done. Like, you know that whatever Chrono's done has stopped Lavos from returning before then.
Right.
And so there's this, I'm starting to get it's the stupid time travel twisting thing of like, well, of course Chrono has to be successful here. Because if he wasn't, then that other timeline doesn't exist.
Right. You start getting the paradox of time travel.
The paradox, yeah.
Fucking confusing.
Which I think that's what the game's trying to do in some ways. To mess with your perceptions of that.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to spoil it for you right now. But you're about a half an hour.
Exactly.
Maybe less.
Yeah, I'm just climbing up.
You're a few screens. It's only a few screens.
Yeah, because I've come like 3 or 4 screens up the mountain.
So
climbing
you're close.
the chains or whatever.
How many save points have you come across?
Just one. I got to the first
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one more. You'll hit one more, and of course there's a boss, like a screen after that. So
okay,
you're not
so I'm
far.
pretty close then. That's awesome.
I think you have 2 screens till the next one, 2 or 3. Yeah, it won't take you long. It will take you most a half an hour.
Well, then I'll catch you, and we'll move on together. Hopefully, at some point, we'll be able to talk together about maybe we've gotten to the same point where we can actually discuss some of those things. For me, the thing that I thought was most interesting was the Wings of Time, where the mechanic where you have to keep going back and finding the warp zone and going to the end of time or whatever. It's nice to just have a mechanic where it's like you can, as long as you can get to your ship, you can just go wherever you want, whenever you want.
Yep.
So it just kind of streamlines the little tedious part of the game quite a bit.
And it was the right time for it mechanically.
It felt like it.
It just, you're like, okay, and I'm like, really like from a design standpoint that they're like, yep, we know that this thing is tedious, and we know that it's reaching that point where it's just annoying.
Yep.
So let's give you something to remove that. And it feels great.
It felt amazing. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I'm fucking tired of trying to remember where the warp zone is and going all the way back there. And then they gave me this thing, and I was like, wait, I can go whenever, wherever. Oh, thank God.
Yep.
Yeah, I really like that. And it's nice to have all the pillars opened up in the end of time, but this thing is just a little bit better, I think.
Oh yeah. Did you name it anything different?
No. Anything that's has a name. I think this one was, what was the name of this one?
Epic.
That's
Epoch.
That's it. Right. So that seems named enough for me, but Frog or Robo or whatever, like I need to change those names because those are just too generic. Too generic.
Killing me.
And I know naming Frog Kermit is not clever in any way, but it's just like a step above Frog, basically.
He does not do Kermit arms, though.
No, definitely not. And then the naming Robo Wally, also not very clever, but I couldn't do Robo. Or I think it was Robo, right?
It is Robo.
Yeah, okay. So, no. I guess we're probably, I don't know, 7-8 hours maybe till the end? 6, 7?
Yeah, it depends on how many side quests you want to do.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you got bogged down in the side quests and didn't actually finish the game, so I'm a little worried about that.
I think I did. I honestly, I probably just got sidetracked onto something else.
Mm-hmm.
I was still heavily into WoW at that time, so I'm pretty sure I just came back from my trip.
Yeah, okay.
And then just went right back into WoW.
Yeah.
Like, I was in a raiding guild then. We were doing weekly stuff, so
right.
I'm pretty sure a lot of things got sidelined at that point.
Well, I'm glad we're able to play it now then.
Yeah.
So it's still fun. Definitely getting to the point where things are coming to a head, and also things are mechanically getting a lot smoother. So it's just, I don't want to use the word easier, but it just feels smoother playing the game.
Yeah, I would agree. feels like you put your time in and you've been rewarded for it now.
Yeah, exactly. And it just makes what I think is the next 6 hours probably going to make them a little more compact, depending on how derailed I get with the side quests.
There's not a huge number of side quests. I think there's only like 6.
There are 6,
but they're detailed. They're not like random little tiny things. They're like they're actual like couple hour segments of the game.
Wow. Okay. So that definitely,
or at least some of them are.
Uh-huh.
Like definitely some of them are in the hours length.
Right.
A lot of them take about an hour. Like you're doing stuff. You're talking to people. You're learning a story.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I definitely want
depth to the side quests.
I definitely want to get through or attempt them until they're no longer fun. So give it the best effort. But as much as I enjoy the game, I'm going to be very excited when I have completed it, so I can say, yes, I finally beat this game. Like it's something that's been, my friend Brad here has been hounding me for a while. Like, you seriously, like, this is one of the best games of all time. You need to fucking sit down and play that game. So
it's always good whenever you finally get one of those taken care of, where you just hear about this thing constantly forever, and you finally are like, watch it, read it, play it, something. And you're like, fine, I will do this. And it's great whenever you do it and you get to the other end and you're like, no, I see why people say this is like really good.
Right. I think for me, the next one on the list that is in that same exact vein, and especially from my personal circumstances, is Link to the Past, because I played the beginning of Link to the Past probably like 8 times.
You've never beat Link to the Past?
I never got past. You go to the castle and you get Zelda, right? Early on.
Yeah. And you go to the church.
Nope.
Oh my god, you haven't. Oh,
I got Zelda.
Dude.
And I was like, okay, I guess I beat the game. I got Zelda.
No, you didn't.
Anthony is so ashamed right now. So it
hurts a little bit.
I know. It's one that's on the list for this year, because I'm enjoying playing on my 3DS, believe it or not, even though I have this nice shiny Switch. Something about that new 3DS is still pretty enticing to me, so I think that will probably be next after I do Chrono Trigger, but we'll see what happens. But my goal is to take it down this year, so we'll see. It's only like, what, a 13-hour game or something?
Yeah, or less.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, considering whenever I was 9 playing that game for the first time, it took me months to beat it.
Oh, yeah,
but
right.
I was 9, and I don't think I truly understood what I was doing.
Right.
But there's a lot of wandering.
Yeah. That's how I felt when my cousin and I, we were quite a bit older. We were probably like 14, 15, 16, maybe 16, 17, playing Ocarina of Time and just getting lost. But in a fun sort of way. My cousin was way into that game. I mainly just watched him, but he was just really into that.
It's true. I watched most of Ocarina of Time originally.
Who was playing it when you were watching?
Our friend Jacob.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because he was the one that had the N64.
Right.
I didn't have the N64. He had one.
And then Travis, I guess, had one, right? Did he?
I think Travis is the one that had one.
Yeah.
He must have had one as well.
Right. I just remember a lot of time in high school watching my cousin play Ocarina, watching Travis play Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid. I did a lot of watching.
Yeah.
So, the other side, or the opposite of watching, is playing video games. And this week we've been playing other things, I think, besides Chrono Trigger. Are you still way down in the Monster Hunter hole? Yeah, okay. Yeah. That laughter tells me that this is true.
I want to say that I want to move on, but I don't. I'm at Hunter rank 49. I'm at the final quest, finally.
Oh, wow.
I beat one. It's really hard. I'm not ready for it. But if I beat it, I fully unlock my Hunter rank, and I can go to whatever level I want to just progress to.
Mm-hmm.
And I unlock the final modification equipment mechanic of the game. So there we are until they release new things for it, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be some hefty DLC. Free. They've always said free. DLC and updates to the game that are going to add some crazy stuff. So,
well, and there has to be like much higher level stuff. So the people who are in your position need a new challenge, I would assume.
Yeah, eventually. Even though once I hit past this final quest, it unlocks like one more chunk of higher level monsters. Like not new monsters, but the highest the elder dragons, the hardest of the monsters, in their hardest forms.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you need to do so you can get the items you need to do that final modification mechanic. So yeah, this game is the game of grinding and the whole thing. It just happens to be really fun grind.
Well, and you're north of 100 hours now.
130 now.
Fuck, man, that's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but that's a ton of hours.
When you talk about like me with WoW back in that's what this game is becoming. Like it's that type. It has that. It's a smaller scope than WoW. Like it's not an enormous world, but it has its hooks in me like that. There's always something more to get, to find, to grind out, to get. I have 2 friends that I'm playing with most nights whenever I am playing. So there's that hook of just we get on and we do a couple hunts together.
Right. It's the social time, basically.
It fit into that. It's now into that part of my life.
Yeah.
I really should play other things, but I'm like, no, I don't really want to. Like,
I mean, the point of playing
game time. This is what I want to play.
Yeah, the point of playing games is to have fun. So if you're having fun with it, then there's no reason to play anything else. Like I feel like sometimes with a huge backlog or new games coming out, we kind of feel like, well, we got to move on to the next thing. But no, we don't. You do what the hell you want.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And really, there isn't anything super recent. There's some indie stuff that's come out that I want to play, but big name things, not really. Not interested in Far Cry 5. I've seen enough on it to be like, oh, it seems amusing like a lot of other Far Cries and stuff, right. But it's your big dumb open world shooter.
Yep.
Which could be a lot of fun, but I'm really not interested in that right now.
Right.
What else is coming up?
God of War?
God of War is getting really good reviews.
It really is.
I don't think I'm going to play it immediately, but I will play it. I mean, I've played all the other ones, so
right.
I'm very curious how they're on this new take on Kratos and his story and the character. And there's enough there that I want to continue that and see where it goes, but I don't need to do it first thing. It's fine.
It's on the list for me for the end of the year. I've only played 3, and I've only played probably half of 3, and it's just, for me, it was just like, okay, I get it. Like, it's kind of the same gameplay over and over again with cooler and bigger monsters, but I get it.
Yep.
But this one looks like, this is intriguing to me, the way they're telling the story. So, and I don't really think I need to have played through the other ones to really get what this one's doing, so it's going to be end of the year on my list.
Yep.
But other than that, I can't think of any other big ones.
So yeah, I mean, and I will say, I was middle of the day today. I got on and played, just did a hunt. I had 7 friends online. 4 of those friends were playing Monster Hunter World, and neither were the 2 guys that I play at night with.
So 4 people other than your normal crew.
Yeah.
Dang, this game certainly has legs, huh?
It totally has legs. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's I think Brad and I are going to play it on PC when it comes out later in the year. He's really stoked and wants to play co-op, so I think I'll probably he always wants to play co-op with me, and I'm just, because of my schedule, I just can't. But I think I'm going to relent and play that one with him. But I've enjoyed going to his house and sitting on the couch and playing co-op, because that I can actually block out that time and go do that. So nighttime, you never know when a kid's going to wake up and start crying. And then my gaming PC is next to my bed right now, so I only can play that till 9:30, because that's when my wife goes to bed, and I can't play after that. So
yeah, that does. No, I'm happy to be many years past that time of the unexpected wake up for the most part. I mean, it happens still sometimes. Yeah. But it's in a different way now.
Well, you can communicate, so it seems easier to deal with, right?
Yeah. And in general, it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking maybe once a month for each of them at, like, different times. And, yeah, I can actually do stuff at night for the most part again.
What the fuck is that like?
Oh, I know where you're at. I understand that. I remember that. And I am happy to not be there anymore.
It is. I love everything that's happening, but it is such a weird shift to be like, at any second, I have to like shut off this podcast or shut off this game or whatever. And that's fine. That's what we sign up for. But it's just a different mind set, which is just more interesting than anything else. Although it's kind of tiring sometimes. But the last week, she's been pretty good. The week before that, it was just like every single night. So you just, week to week, you just never know, man.
No, you don't.
But luckily this week, my wife has arranged a babysitter for Tuesday night. We're going to go out and do Parks and Rec trivia, which is going to be
nice.
Freaking awesome. And then my friend Brad has harangued me into going to Ready Player One with him on Thursday. So I actually get 2 nights this week to go out and do something.
Wow.
So it's going to be, that's like winning
You
a
got to tell
lotto.
me how that is. I did not like that book.
I will. I liked the book originally, but the more that I've reflected on it, not so much. So we'll see. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I read it. I felt like it tried too hard.
Yeah, certainly did. Tried really hard to cram everything.
I was like, I understand it's nostalgia, and it just at one point I was just like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
You can throw all the nostalgia at me you want, but it's lost its shine now.
Right.
Like, I see what you're doing. I see behind the curtain. I don't want to deal with this.
Well,
and so it felt very hollow by the time I finished the book. I was like, that was enjoyable enough to read, but doesn't really stick with me. And so the movie has had no interest to me at all.
Yeah. Well, and then his follow-up, Armada, I think was his next book.
I've heard that one's horrible.
It's fucking awful, man. It's really bad. Like, compared to Armada, Ready Player One was really, really good. So that's how bad Armada was.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I thought like this might be an author I'd want to follow, but no.
No.
But
I've heard that Spielberg has done a good job with the movie, though.
Yeah.
That they've drastically changed parts of the plot, and feels like, if of anyone, Spielberg is a filmmaker that I know that can at least find a heart to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Who knows if he's completely successful with the material that he was given,
right.
But he's a good filmmaker. He makes good movies. So I trust that he would do his best on it. So
I will dutifully report back next week.
Yeah.
And before we end this episode, just want to let you know one game that I played this week other than Chrono Trigger. And it was a game I played tonight. Finished reading my midterms and wanted to play something before we talked. So actually I played 2 things, but anyway, let me finish this one. I loaded up Florence on the cell phone and played through Florence. It was about a half an hour experience. I don't know if you've heard anything about Florence.
No, I haven't.
So basically, it's published by Annapurna. It's done by a studio called, I think, Mountain, and it's basically a game, quote unquote, that's following a relationship, kind of like getting into a relationship, falling in love, falling out of love, and kind of moving on. And it does it in I kind of want to say visual novel, but not really. It's more told through pictures and little mini games. Like at one point, when you're having a conversation with this guy that you've met, you're basically filling in colored puzzle pieces into the text bubble. There are no words,
okay.
But when the conversation is easy and you're just hitting it off, there's only like 2 or 3 puzzle pieces, and they're really easy to fit together. But when you're fighting or things are rough, there's like 20 puzzle pieces to put together, and it's hard to have the conversation because you can't get it done. Put the puzzle together. So the representation of different parts of like a relationship is pretty interesting. The fights, the kind of settling into a routine, the breakup, all this stuff is told without words, told through lots of different kinds of images, lots of different kinds of mini games. That is like a $3 game on or on the iOS store, and a lot of people talked about it being like really emotionally resonant and made them cry and all this stuff. I found it to be pretty straightforward. Like I thought the gameplay was well done. I thought that the way that they presented the story was cool and definitely worth the money, worth the price of admission. But in terms of like the impact of the story, when I tell you that it kind of tracks a relationship from the ups and the down and then the breakup and all that stuff, whatever you can imagine that would include, that's what it is. Like there's not really any surprise.
Okay.
So it's interesting. It was a 30-minute experience, and I'm glad that I had that experience because of especially the artwork I thought was very interesting. But overall it was okay, which is, it's nice to have an okay game, especially when it only lasts 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I've been playing Hearthstone this week because
Nice.
I have my phone, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can play that on my phone. So I've been playing lots and lots of Hearthstone, just kind of getting all the.
You got to go to Blizzard.
Yeah.
Are you getting any? Do you get any packs?
Well, my friend gave me $100 of Blizzard cash to spend on whatever I wanted. So I thought about buying packs, but I didn't. I actually bought games instead. I felt like that was a better use of the money. I was thinking about buying like the new packs that are coming up. It's like $50 for whatever.
$50 for 60 packs.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. I still haven't decided yet because I haven't spent 80 of the dollars. I've only spent 20 on Diablo 3, which is on sale right now. So I still have to choose: do I want to buy WoW or do I want to buy packs for Hearthstone? And I'm not quite sure yet. But it's nice to have the option, and it was really generous of my friend to give me those codes, which was just awesome. Along with a BlizzCon bag full of cool stuff, and then also access to BlizzCon tickets, which would, if it happens, Brad and I will probably go if I can get tickets from him if he still has them. So he said he usually does, just to hit him up for them around October, and then because everyone at the Blizzard gets a certain allotment of tickets, and he usually doesn't have anyone to give them to. So.
Yeah.
Well, not give them to. I'll have to buy them, but I don't have to fight the public, basically. But yeah, going to Blizzard, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I want to get back into some Blizzard games. So I jumped into Hearthstone and probably played 20 matches in the past couple of days, mainly on my phone. And I was like, it's pretty serviceable on the phone. I think I'd rather play on an iPad. And I have a new iPad coming Tuesday. I bought a Pro, so.
Nice. Oh wow.
That was my Teacher of the Year stipend.
Big old iPad there.
Big present to myself, yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
Anything else about the news of the week?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Pretty quiet overall.
Pretty quiet week, yeah. I guess PAX East is happening soon-ish.
Next week, I think.
Okay, so real
next
soon.
Weekend. It's really soon.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Thursday through Sunday. It's coming up.
It is. Weirdly, this is one of the first years it hasn't bookended GDC. Because a lot of people I know would then, it was killer for devs. They would do GDC week, and then the following week was PAX.
I wonder if they like acquiesced to demands of moving the times.
Just slightly, just give an extra week in there.
Yeah.
That'd be, like, devs really need that because I knew some people that would go to both, and they were just wrecked by the end of it.
Right.
So yeah, I bet we'll get some stuff out of PAX East. There'll probably be some playable stuff and more. I don't know if there'll be any big new announcements, but we'll hear some stuff about probably stuff we've already heard about, but playable in some form.
Well, if anyone listening is interested in PAX East shenanigans, come back next week. We will probably be talking about everything we heard about PAX East. Until then, this has been episode 133 of Prof and Dev Play Games. Again, at Summer Speak, at Prof Plays Games. If you liked the episode, please give us a review. If you're listening on Spotify, hi! Thanks for all the downloads, folks. Enjoy while you're gaming, and we will talk to you next week.
Night, all.